All right, good evening. If you could please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much, and welcome to our guests. We have no requests to speak at open forums. We're going to go right to the superintendent's report.
Yeah, the Smart Schools investment, I explained a little bit in the last couple of weekly updates, is my fault. We forgot to do a public or a legal notice in the paper with this when we did the public hearing. So we ran the legal notice for the 30 days in the paper, and then we just need to change the dates for the Smart Schools public hearing from April 11th to April 24th. And it was just oversight on my part to not do the legal notice, but we're not in any time crunch for that, so we did the legal notice as we should and send it out.
Great. And nothing else to report on because we just met?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. All right. You picked a really good meeting to come to. It's a short one.
The only thing I would say is, before we move into that, is just if you have questions about the DCMO BOCES capital administrative budget, there's been no change. They updated, as I mentioned, over the last few months to really put it back in line. The adoption of our budget, the line by line. We do sync this meeting next year. So there's one meeting, so it'll be April, I believe it's April 20th or April 16th or something like that next year. So it's a joint meeting, just happen to be on the same time. And then there were a couple policies that just got released today for nutrition. And I know we haven't really had many policies. I don't know if we actually had any this year. So there are two. One is the charging of school meals and prohibition against shaming and the school meal modification. So they just got released. I'll send those to Amanda and Anna and Tom are the policy committee. And just to kind of revamp, I have an email set to go. I'll send it out tomorrow. But previously when we converted from the Erie 1 BOCES to the, if you remember this, when we met every week, from Erie 1 BOCES to NISBA, we met on the Tuesdays prior to the board meeting, either 4 to 5 or 5 to 6 via Zoom. If you want to do the same, what I'll do is just like what we did last time, I'll attach the draft policy in a PDF. We'll look over it and then we'll kind of do a real-time editing for the first reading. We set up a Zoom meeting. If the 4 to 5 or 5 to 6 on that Tuesday, that would put us at May 2nd. So not this Tuesday, not tomorrow, but the week after. If that works, I can send out a Zoom link for that. And then we could do a first reading, a second reading. They ask that these policies be put in, they are required, be put in for a July 1 start. So, but if we do a first reading in May, do a second reading in June, and then we can have it ready to go for July 1.
Again, the grant program, isn't that through the USDA for the free lunch and free breakfast?
I'm sure it's stemming from that, why these policies came out. But
is that going to continue? Is that grant been extended?
It's actually on the governor's budget, right? Part of the budget. So we'll see. But everybody that I have seen, both sides, have been in favor of that. So advocacy groups are in favor of that.
I would assume that the shaming part is about students for schools that don't have what we have. That students who have carry a balance don't
They have that policy.
Right.
Or they don't get everybody else.
They don't get what everybody
Right.
else gets.
Yeah.
And I remember that, there used to be a big issue with people carrying a balance and stuff like that. But with and I understand we have to have the policy, but I just want to know if that grant was looking like it was going to be extended or not.
Yeah. Ideally, it would be extended across the state for everybody, and hopefully it will be. Everything in there, as long as you had 40% of your population was free and reduced lunch, and you qualify for that. And there's some things in there, right? It's like your meal charges, right, and what you do with it, what's the threshold of them. Some of the things really aren't applicable to us, but we'll put it in there because it is now a required policy. But the name of that is charging school meals and prohibition against shaming. And then school meal modification. And the modification piece is the charging is pretty straightforward. And then the school meal modification is to address any dietary needs and how it's communicated. But I'll send an email out tomorrow to the three of you and then see when we want to meet, send out a Zoom link. Shouldn't take too long to go through them. But that's all I have.
Okay,
Yeah.
great, thank you. All right. Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools to approve the minutes from the regular Board of Education meeting held on Tuesday, April 11th, 2023.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Sorry, Carrie, I had two things written here that I just completely skipped.
Sure.
I believe you got invitations to the Arbor Day on Friday down at Keith Clark Park in the morning. If you can make it, that's great. We have our elementary band that plays there, and just a nice event. And then also on Friday is our partnership with Coleman again. Is we have our pre-K kids on campus from 8:30 to 11, and that will be students will participate in some centers. They will participate in the tour, and then they'll have lunch on campus.
Oh, wonderful.
Sorry, I had that. I just overstopped. Yeah, it should be pretty cool.
Well, that'd be great.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools to approve the personnel consent agenda as presented.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolved that the Sidney Central School Board of Education does hereby approve the proposed Delaware, Shenango, Madison, Otsego, BOCES administrative budget for the 2023-2024 school year in the amount of $2,836,035.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolved that the Board of Education cast their vote for 2 BOCES board members.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools to approve the 2023-2024 annual proposed budget as presented.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion?
I think we've been working on this for 6 months.
We talked it back. Well, good job.
You'll see it again on May 9th.
Thank you for keeping us very well informed.
Yes,
This
thank
is
you.
not a shock at all.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools to approve the property tax card as presented.
So moved. Second.
Discussion.
Just to chime in case you get questions, you'll see the tax levy for the Sidney Central School District is flat. There's no increase. And then you'll see next to the Sidney Memorial Library, you'll see an increase in there. So if somebody looks very quickly at that property tax report card, they might see a 0.18% increase. And that is the Sidney Memorial Library increase, the tax levy increase, not the Sidney Central School District, but the way that public libraries have to get reported on the school district's property tax report card, it'll indicate that. In case you get questions on that at all, if somebody looks at it fast, they might see that.
Say 0.8.
Sorry, 0.18. Sorry if I misspoke, 0.18. But yeah, in case you get asked, or like you said, the initial quick look at that might show that.
And there's going to be some, reallocation of properties coming off the tax roll and stuff like that. So even though it's a flat 0% increase, the reallocation of the tax levy sometimes some people question that too.
Again, the levy stays the same, but how it's distributed could be different. Yep. Good point.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools to approve the amended Smart Schools Investment Plan as presented.
So moved. Second.
Any additional discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Board member comments.
I just want to thank everybody who came out to the community strategic planning session last Monday. That was extremely well attended. The people who were there were very engaging. I know Tom and I sat in a really great group talking about academic excellence. I really enjoyed it. And the ideas from the people that presented were here. So thank you to those who were able to be here and those who participated, and especially to the leadership team and all the staff for their part. But I'm very excited about what we came up with.
And Dr. McGowan had shared the deliverables. I just want to wrap my head around them before I send them to you, as opposed to just forwarding an email. It's got a lot of stuff in it, but really look good. And he just spoke really strong praise of the district and the commitment the district has, and really the positive outlook that he experienced through the entire process with people that participated, and just the passion that people have for the district. And he was, just wanted to highlight on that.
You did a really good job on Friday of summarizing our thoughts and putting it in a distinct one sentence kind of blurb. That's masterful. That was very good how he did that.
Yeah, he took a drawn-out process into minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
And he kept you on task too. Like he would like walk past the table and he'd only be there for a second and he would be like, now just to keep you guys on task. And I'm like, okay.
He did that with our leadership team on Tuesday too. He's like very, very on task. It was very well done. But yeah, great opportunity to go through that. I think you're right, Kara.
I think Mr. Hansen is his protege because he was part of our group, and he basically said that he had worked with him before, and same thing. We all talked a lot of different things, and he came up with a sentence, and we were like, yeah, that sounds good. That's exactly what we said. So very well done. I like him a lot. I think that was a good process.
Yeah, he's a very entertaining, engaging guy.
Yeah.
Anything else? Okay, motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you, everyone, for coming out for an additional evening. It's been a busy month, so thank you to the board members and everybody for the extra time.
Do the Boy Scouts still get credit for 13 minutes?
Yeah.